Hello and welcome, Philipp Banse, DLD 216 in Munich. My next guest is Chris Altchek from Mike. Welcome to the program, Mike.
Thank you
Chris.
for having me.
Mike, Chris. Yeah, you're founder and editor at Mike, which is a magazine, online magazine for millennials. So, what is your special angle on millennials? What kind of stories do you choose to get to the millennials?
Yeah, so we're focused on telling the stories that young people care about, that are on substantive, important issues, and that resonate deeply across all these new distribution channels. So you can think of us like the next New York Times, the next CNN for our generation. So we cover all types of stories. You know, what you see up on the screen right now.
We can show the screen, and you have some video up running here.
Yeah, so this
we can make it full screen.
This is a story of a social movement in Camden, New Jersey, where you have a young group of activists that have built a really innovative program for stopping gang violence across this pretty rundown city in New Jersey, and it's working tremendously well. And so we went out, reported that story from Camden, New Jersey, and told it in a different and unique and personal way that you're just not seeing in other publishers.
But what is the angle? What is so? How do you make it appeal to millennials?
Yeah, so two things. First, this is a group, 80 million in the United States, 2.5 billion globally. In the US, it's the most educated group in American history and the most racially diverse. And so one of the things we do, I think, really well is we have hosts, personalities who understand our generation's issues and how we see the world, and we tell really human stories through that perspective. So our content is really well reported, deep, but from a uniquely young perspective. The second thing we do is we format and package it for the distribution channels. So 75% of our audience consumes it on mobile. We reach 30 million people a month, 75% of them are mobile, and we do short video, long video, and really interactive text.
And 75% mobile means mobile website or Instagram, Facebook, Twitter?
So this 75% is all mobile web. If you include Facebook video, Instagram, Twitter,
Snapchat.
the numbers.
Are you on Snapchat?
We have our own account on Snapchat, and potentially we'll be on Snapchat in the future.
Okay. But again, some other stories. This is another story you're running as a video. Just tell us a little bit about that story.
Yeah, so what you're seeing right now is a story about how female breasts have been sexualized in advertisements, and we're very comfortable with seeing breasts on TV all the time, breast in music, breast in culture, but when we see women breastfeeding, it's a big scandal. And so, there was a big scandal about women breastfeeding in Parliament last week. There's a big scandal about women breastfeeding in different places, and we've talked about how our generation is just not going to put up with this sexualization of breasts, and how women in our generation especially are pushing for true equality in the workplace in a different way. And we've done this from a uniquely young and fun perspective.
But how does this perspective work? Because other media, I think, will report on the topic. Maybe they won't report on the topic at all. Then, of course, the topic itself is very interesting. But say other media is reporting on the topic as well. What is your angle? What is your approach? Is it very personalized because you have very young hosts, or what?
Yeah,
what
so
is
it's first of all it's created for and by our generation. So what our generation cares about, we cover intuitively because our hosts are that. Our top editor used to run NPR. She's not a millennial, but she has a millennial sensibility. She knows how to do great journalism. But our day-to-day correspondents are voices that our audience trusts. So a good example is marijuana legalization.
Yeah.
If you're a legacy publisher, you're like, oh, I want to reach young people, I'm going to go cover marijuana legalization. So you've seen all these stories from all the big publishers about marijuana becoming legal in Colorado. It's over-covered story, but you're still seeing that same story come out over and over and over again, and they think that's young and cool. When Mike covers marijuana legalization, the story we did last week was we went and found the only African-American owner of a marijuana dispensary in the United States. So there's one African-American owner of a legal marijuana business in the United States, and we talked about how the business has now been legalized. Over the last several years, or over the last 20 years, there's been hundreds of thousands of African-American men who've been put in prison for selling marijuana, and now it's legal and there's only one African American who runs a legal business. Everything else is white men. And so we went and told that story from a uniquely young perspective because we get it. Most other media companies, for better or for worse, are run by old white men, and this is a generation where 40% are racially diverse, where women are playing a bigger role than ever before, and telling those stories with those voices is incredibly important.
And when legacy media tries to reach the millennials, they always talk about different distribution channels, like Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, or other types of channels. How important are these channels really to get to the millennials?
So the channels are hugely important. Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat have really disrupted where we get content. Young people are spending now close to 4 hours a day on mobile phones. I mean, they're consuming a huge amount of content. That being said, it's not enough to just say, I'm going to create a listicle and put it on Facebook and I'm going to be young and cool and get it. That's not how it works. And I think this is a very smart audience that cares deeply about the world, and you need to have great reporting, great storytelling, and it's not about being silly and snackable. And so in Germany, you've seen several publishers launch millennial-focused websites that have been relatively low quality and silly in practice, and haven't resonated deeply. And so Mike's perspective is, this is a really smart audience. Treat them in that way.
We've seen videos, but of course, your magazine consists of a lot of text. How do you work those media together? Like video? Do you have podcasts? Do you have text, photos? How do you combine those for your storytelling?
Yeah. So when I'm checking my phone now, the incredible part is I'm getting text and video in the same feeds, in the same structure. So whether it's on Snapchat, you get text and video. It's on Facebook, you get text and video. Twitter, same thing. So text and video is merging. And so we think about producing an operation and running an operation that creates both equally and very quickly and in a similar fashion. And we think it would be smart for the big video people like TV News and the big newspapers to merge, because video and text on mobile are interchangeable in a lot of different ways, and if you're really going to win, you have to do both, and you have to do them really well.
And how do you do it? Do you have special tools to combine video and text?
Yeah, we have a lot of technology that allows us to find the video we want quickly. But it's really a workflow and an operation that's very efficient between all the teams, that has high collaboration, high communication, and real speed.
And how important is audio, podcasts?
So we are not producing a ton of podcasts right now, but podcasts are becoming equally important in the US. The key with podcasts is users are really making a commitment, 15 minutes to 45 minutes. The quality better be awesome. Because if you can't just create a podcast that's not amazing. And so we're figuring out amazing stories to tell over podcasts, but we're going to take our time and do it well.
All right. So we talked about the content. How big is your staff?
So staff is 120 people across the US and in Europe. Reach is 30 million people a month.
You're here on DLD. We're on a panel where you talked about if endeavors like yours change the publishing itself, and we're now observing like new publishers appearing, like Vox Media with Recode and Vox and TechCrunch and everything. Are these publishers structurally any different? Are you structurally as a publishing house any different from traditional publishers?
I think we are definitely structurally different. We have a different worldview. We have a different publishing process. What we've been criticized for is not having the same quality. But I would argue, if you actually read our work and look at our work, the journalism speaks for itself. I think the exciting part that we've had is we've combined the new approach to content and distribution with sales, and have created products that are very compelling for advertisers. And so we work with a lot of the best brands that want to reach young people through premium channels on new platforms, and that's really where our speed advantage has had a huge...
And how does the millennials, how do they react on native advertising? Do you native advertising?
We do native advertising. We do high quality magazine style advertising. As long as the labeling is clear, the audience is very bright, so they like it.
All right, Chris. Thanks very much for your time. Chris Altchek, check out mike.com is the URL. My name is Philipp Banse from the DLD 216 in Munich. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon. Bye.